Hey, what's going on, everybody? So I just want to make a quick video to wrap up this awesome year. Yes, when I say awesome, it doesn't mean like it's been a year of just happy, party, constant fun. No, of course not. Life is hard, life is awesome, life has ups and it has downs, and there's a few sayings that I like that have stuck with me, like, there's no such thing as a rainbow without rain. There's no stars without darkness. There's no feeling good without feeling bad, without the struggles, without the hard times. There just isn't. They need each other. And as we go forward in life, awareness is the one of the greatest tools we can strengthen and activate. A lot of us don't even have it activated, so it's like a lot of people will make it their entire lives without ever activating their awareness. And what is awareness? It makes me think of, now it's Christmas, or the holidays, Hanukkah, or whatever, all the religious, spiritual celebrations that are going on right now. But in Christianity, there's the belief of the Son, the Father, and the Holy Ghost, the Trinity, right? The three. I find that really interesting, and it comes to mind for me a lot because I do believe that within us there are three existences, three things going on. There is something that's just behaving, and we find it difficult to control that. It's almost like the instinctual responses, and it could be, someone hurts you or teases you or makes you feel good, and then you just can't control those instinctual responses. So there's this being that you can observe, right? Let's give that being a name, and it's the name that you were born with. And that being, whether it's Sarah, Christian, Muhammad, whatever the name of that being is, it will respond. It will get angry, it will get hurt, it will get depressed, it will get, excited, it will have moments of low energy, moments of high energy, and it's very complex the way it is. But then there's another entity, and we know it. It's that awareness, it's that, some people call it consciousness, whatever you want to call it, but we know it, and we do all experience it from time to time. It's when we get to like stand from a different perspective and think, oh, well, this behavior could be wrong or could be, and we very rarely use this awareness when this feels happy. We usually come to this place of awareness when this is suffering, when this is angry or depressed or sad. But it's important for us to train coming to this place even when this is happy and comfortable. Those are the moments where it's healthy and very helpful to us to just say, well, when we're having an amazing time, when everything is great, when life feels just awesome, to just for a second say, you know what, let me just be aware for a moment. Okay, yes, I feel happy, I feel great, and I know that no state lasts forever. Even this blissful, happy state doesn't last forever. And by being in that place of awareness more and more and more, some people can wind up living in this state of awareness and just observing this being, how it responds. So the Holy Trinity is very interesting. And if you have that part of you that just responds, there's perhaps two parts. There's the fear part that responds out of fear, closes up, tenses up, gets scared, gets aggressive, gets defensive. That's all from fear, right? Then there's maybe another part that responds out of love, you know, and you can also observe that. And perhaps that is the deep spiritual meaning of the Holy Trinity, you know. It's the Son, the Father, and it's interesting that the Mother isn't mentioned, except it's replaced with the Holy Spirit. And you know, that's what I believe the Holy Spirit is. It's love. And if you look at families, what's a good father really there to teach? I mean, forget the word good father, but usually what's a father there? Father, you know, traditionally from hundreds of thousands of years ago is the protector, is the fighter, is the defender, is the one that goes out and hunts, fights, and has to have fear to do that. Fear is when you're looking left and right. If you look at animals in nature, they don't just come out and stroll around. If you look at birds or squirrels, they're constantly in a state of fear, like, you know, looking left and right, and they come out and they quickly do what they need to do, and then they run back in, fear of their life, because they know that one slip up and boom, a hawk will come down and grab them. And that's similar to how fathers are. Fathers have to worry. They worry. They worry about their family, their children, their wives. They worry that there are people out there who have bad intentions. So fathers are more fear-based. That's not a bad thing. And from our fathers, we can learn that the world can be a hostile, brutal, vicious, cold place. And it's not a bad thing to be able to learn as a son, as a daughter, as children. Just to know that, you know, the world can be like that. And then what do we get from our mothers? Our mothers are all about love, right? Love, nurturing, taking care, abundance, the opposite of fear, right? Which is why a lot of men and women are attracted to each other, because those they need that completion, that wholeness that they can provide together. But you know, as we're evolving as a species, we're learning that we should be able to provide that balance and those states of minds for ourselves. Um, Excuse the lack of videos and updates. You know, the last month and a half I've been involved with a very difficult, I was hired to help out a couple who are going through a very difficult divorce. And it's been a very difficult process, but you know, it's been going, knock on wood, it's you know, progressing, and the vibes are good, there's respect, and that's the most important thing, and kindness even being shown, and progress, which is the most important thing of all. But through it, I learn, we always learn through everything, right? So this Trinity is something that's become more clearer to me through this last big job that I've been involved with. So religion, you know, religions at their core, if you can get to their core, you know, they've been diluted over the years, but if you can get to their core, there's a lot of deep psychological wisdom in there. You know, I'm not Christian, Muslim, Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist, or anything. I believe in, you know, continuous improvement and, you know, being open to everything, to learn the best I can, to constantly be improving myself. But recently I've been reciting the Lord's Prayer a lot in bed. You can look it up if you wish. As I said, I'm not Christian, but you know, I was raised in England, and you know, we used to recite this at school together in chapel. And it goes along the lines of, you know, Lord, our Father, you know, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Now, I may have made a mistake there, so excuse me if I have. But if you look that up, it's an incredibly powerful series of statements that bring your attention to really good things, like forgive me for my trespasses as I forgive those who trespass against me. So that's forgiveness, right? And just simply praying or reciting things like that every day, what they do is they just bring those things to mind so that at least you can for a second think about, well, what could I have improved today? What, you know, could I be forgiven for, sorry. Who have been trespassing against me? Like who's hurt me or done wrong things to me, and can I forgive them? At least can I begin to think about forgiving them? Because the root of everything comes from the seeds of thoughts. So when we just think something once, it's like we've put a drop of water on a seed. And if we think about the same thing again, we're watering that seed more. And the more we can think about certain things, the more those things will grow in our mind and out of our mind and burst into our existence. Which is why it's so important that you use your awareness to realize, am I being too extreme in love? Am I being too extreme in fear? And using awareness to just guide and navigate. Because, one of my big, it's not a big problem that I have, but one of the things where areas I can see people like Eckhart Tolle or a lot of spiritual teachers where they can improve or where there can be improvements on those teachings are that they talk a lot about just be present, be aware, be in that state of just be in the now, don't be in a state of thinking. Look, at the end of the day, what is thinking? Thinking is some processing, right? We're constantly thinking. Like forget the word thinking, but whatever we're absorbing through our eyes, our ears, our taste, it's activating an experience in our mind. And that experience it's recording things from 10 seconds ago, from an hour ago, from a year ago, and we can access those things as well. So we have a wide array of memories. There's no such thing as presence if you think about it. There's no such thing as now. We're in a constant state of just moving forward. So it's like impossible for you to isolate a specific moment that's happening right now because it's all the past. So it doesn't matter. Those things aren't important. All that's important is, think about the past if you want. Think about the future if you want. Spend all day long thinking. There's nothing wrong with it, but just make sure that what you're thinking, what you're watering, the thoughts, the seeds, are good, healthy, ones that help, that energize you, that strengthen you, that uplift you. Don't be, and it takes awareness to be able to realize what are you thinking about. If you don't have awareness, you're just going to spend all day long just having thoughts that just bring you down. And as I say in a lot of my videos, well, how do you know what's a better way to be able to be aware of those thoughts is, well, how you feel, because thoughts trigger emotions. So if you're depressed, angry, happy, it's a result of thoughts. So if you feel depressed, well, there's thoughts. You're having thoughts. Usually those thoughts are comparing, like, oh, I should be this, I should be that, or that person is this, or that. I was just driving the other day, and I was on a lane, and there was traffic on the lane, and it was moving slow. But I was fine. I was happy. I was enjoying. I was listening to my music, going with the flow. Suddenly, the lane on the right-hand side got super free and people started whizzing by. And inside me, I could just feel this fear of missing out, right? I was comparing my lane, which I was already happy with originally, now to this lane where everyone's whizzing by and people who are behind me are now in front of me. And that created emotions and frustration and anger and this competitiveness, right? Whereas before I was fine. So always remember, a lot of our suffering comes from comparing. And look, there's nothing wrong with comparing. It shows that, oh, well, that's my potential. I could be saving a lot of time by going in that lane. And there's nothing wrong with that. I can take a breath, relax, and okay, let me try and get into the faster lane. But to immediately try to jump and be like, oh, well, no, the lane I'm in is terrible and that lane is better. Well, then I'm going to suffer and I'm not going to enjoy my journey. And that's just an example. It's just, I guess, an analogy for how a lot of people feel in life. They are not happy with their life, their lane. They're not happy. Why? Mostly because they're comparing their lane with other people's lanes, other people's lives, what others are doing. So, I quit my social media, quit my Facebook, quit all of that. And I tell you, it's been about a month and a half, maybe 2 months now, and it's awesome. It's one of the best things I've done because it helps me focus on my lane and appreciate my lane and not get distracted by all the baloney that people are sharing out there, And it's good. If their lives are amazing and happy, good for them. But hey, I'm focused on my life, right? I want to focus on what I'm doing. And we should always be asking, does this serve me? Does it serve me to every day constantly go in, like I started an Instagram page because there were people watching my channel here and they were like, oh, start an Instagram page and tell us what you eat and drink and your diet and this and that. So I did it. And then I noticed, okay, it was kind of cool, but there's some features on there I really didn't like the Explorer. I'd go on there and oh my God, it's all about what you're missing and what you could be doing. And again, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. It can help inspire and this and that, but there can be a lot wrong with it if that makes you feel like, oh, my life sucks. Well, I'm not doing all this exciting stuff. Nobody's life is like that. And that's the reality that a lot of us will realize at some point. So stay in your lane, focus on your goals, focus on being grateful for what you have and making the best out of what you have. Like when I was in my lane in the traffic, well, I was making the best out of it. I put music on. I started thinking about planning cool stuff that I want to do, work, thinking about my album, whatever it is. Yeah, and yeah, you might think, well, I'm not like that. That will be hard and frustrating for me. Well, yeah, it was hard and frustrating for me as well. I used to only be able to drive and smoke. This is, you know, 10 years ago now. I used to smoke, I used to smoke. I quit, but I've been 8 years, haven't smoked. I just sports helped me big time. But I used to need to have a cigarette, or have a smoke when I'm driving. And if I wouldn't, driving would just be boring to me. So, you just have to slowly take those steps in the right direction. Now it's like music has replaced that for me, or whatever. But it just takes a little time. It takes making the effort. I have a client I'm working with at the moment who's incredible, had a very difficult start to his hard breakup, but got involved with sports, got involved with dancing, and huge effects. The first thing I tell most of the people I work with is get involved with the sport. Go to a jiu-jitsu class. Go think of something that you might find interesting and then just get in there. Why is jiu-jitsu a huge one? Because it's a structured class. The coaches are amazing. Everyone there has difficulties in life, coming from a place of difficulty, and they're there to learn how to fight and be strong and show up in life, show up on the mats, training their bodies, their minds, their confidence. And you don't have to do much. You show up and the coach is going to be the one pushing everyone, driving everyone. So all you have to do is get your gi on, show up to the class, put in your hard work, go home. And that's it. And the beauty of jiu-jitsu, I'll make a video about it soon, is that you're going to improve. You're just going to get better. And you're going to see those improvements over time. And whether you're old, ill, a friend of mine at the gym recently, yesterday, just, shared with all of us that he has MS for the last 11 years and no one knew that. There's a person there who has no legs and missing an arm. But then there's professional athletes, there's MMA fighters, there's UFC fighters, there's there's women, there's girls, there's older men, older women, there's people from all walks of life who have decided, I'm not going to curl up in a bowl and cry all day long. I'm going to show up and I'm going to try to make the best out of myself. And jiu-jitsu is beautiful because no matter where you are, if you have an illness or older or whatever, Anthony Bourdain, I talk about him, he's 63 or 64, just started jiu-jitsu 3 years ago, the famous chef, and he says he's in the best shape of his life ever at age 63, and I believe it. The beauty of it is that you're going to improve. And seeing those little improvements boosts your confidence. Even if you're like 40 and you're starting, you're like, wow, I'm getting healthier, I'm getting fitter, I'm getting stronger. I didn't know I could do this at this age. And you're going to constantly be improving. Whether it's in technique and your way of thinking and the way you move. And having something in life where you're always improving helps you tremendously. Mentally, spiritually, physically. It just helps you, makes you feel hopeful. It gives you this spark. It gives you this motivation, energizes you. Anyway, well, I'm not going to ramble on too much again. I just wanted to make a video to wrap up the end of the year and say, hey, also, one last thing is fuck New Year's resolutions. Fuck all that shit. Every day is a new year, okay? So you don't have to wait until the first of the year to like, oh, my New Year's resolutions are going to be this and that. Fuck all that shit. Just begin today, whatever it is. Make your New Year's resolution right now, today. And every day just try and improve. Do it week by week. Every week to say, where can I make an improvement in my life now? What can I throw away that I don't need? What can I bring in that will help me, whether it's people, music, foods, clothes, furniture? What can I throw away that will help lighten my load, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, social media, old clothes, people that are just irritating and holding you back? You don't have to throw those away, by the way, but you can create more distance and space between them until you find a good, good boundary, I guess you can call it. So that's how you should be living your life. Every day, just be thinking, where can I make improvements? Where can I get rid of things? Where can I bring things in, right? And that's an important muscle that should be activated. For some of us, we make that muscle our priority. Like for me, it's my priority. Continuous improvement. And it's just the tip of the rocket ship is continuous improvement. And it affects the rest of the starship. The starship is my life, right? So it's going to just make everything better. My relationships, my health, enjoy this journey, So it doesn't have to be a priority in your life, but it needs to be activated. You've got to be aware of it. Otherwise, your starship's just going to be tumbling all over the place. And what will wake you up is when you knock into things and you get hurt. Then you're like, oh, something's up with my rocket ship. It's not flying straight. Never knew this. And then you're like, God damn it. Activate your awareness. Then you're going to find, yes, you're going to have days where it's hard and days when it's better and days when it's hard and days when it's better. I call that the pendulum effect. And it takes some while to figure out how to fly the starship. But then as you get better, okay, I'm aware. Oh, today I'm super happy, but I'm going to be aware that it doesn't last forever, so I'm just going to be aware. Oh, okay, I can feel like I'm getting shit today. It's okay, I know this isn't going to last forever either. And then you stabilize the rocket ship, and then you can get to play. You're like, I'm going to be here for a while. Just be, not get too excited, not get too happy, but, see how that affects me. And then, okay, let's go to Disneyland, or let's go to the gym and work really hard. And, it's hard. But then when you come home, woo, you feel so good. And so life is a beautiful journey, and whether it's hard or happy or up and down, it's all beautiful. And always just appreciate your lane, appreciate what you have, bring the beauty out of the things that you have, no matter how few and small and scarce they may be. And yeah, don't compare too much. Keep an eye on your expectations. Okay, it's good to have some goals and expectations and look left and right and be like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, oh, I would like that. Or yeah, I'd like to look like that or feel that way or have that car or whatever. But don't live there. Come back to your starship and be like, okay, well, what improvements do I need to make to get there? All right, and then last thing, patience. Just be patient. Make the adjustments and let time make all the changes for you. Measure your progress in weeks, not days, and months as well. Okay, so sending everybody out there all the very best. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever it is, Kwanzaa. Just enjoy this time. Uh, you know, Whatever enjoy means, like get the most out of it. Be at peace, re-energize. And, I have a very optimistic outlook for 2018. I believe it's going to be a great year for all of us. I think it's been a past hard couple of years for a lot of people. So let's build. We've learned from a lot of things. We're always learning. So let's continue to build and make 2018 awesome. And remember, what I said about New Year's resolutions. Make it right now. Forget about that. New Year is every day. All right, everybody. Adios for now and talk to you all soon. Bye.